justice for all.
Thank you, everybody. Moving on to item 2, the budget. Ms. Brenda.
Hello.
Hi.
Good evening. My name is Brenda Higuera. I'm the Director of Finance, and I'm here at this public hearing today to give an overview of our annual budget revision. So everyone should have a copy of the budget forms in front of you, and then I'll just take you through, and then if you have any questions, please let me know. The purpose of the public hearing is we have to do, it's a mandatory budget revision in May, and that allows us as a district to look back now that we've done our annual financial review and we've closed out the year and all of that, so that we can go back and capture what you'll see mainly for us is our carryover. So that way, this is our opportunity to capture any of that budget capacity that we might not have done when we did the revision in September. Okay, so it is also based on our enrollment because now that we've done the 100th day, a lot of the reporting and what ADE calculates is based on this year's 100th day enrollment. And so we did have a decrease as a district, and so we calculate the budget with those numbers based on the ADE numbers. The first page you have there is our cover page, and that one has our current tax rates, and then it has our budget amounts, our updated budget amounts there, and then it also has our average teacher salary, which I did update that to the 5531. Please note that we do not include any classroom site fund payments in the average teacher salary, and also the instructional improvement payments. So this is just strictly salaries.
And those two numbers are about 25,000, right?
For last year, it was 24,300.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Thank you.
On the next page, this is our M&O fund, our maintenance and operations fund, and basically this is just everything that's budgeted out by the different areas. Something new that was this year, and I did mention this in our when we did our budget adoption, is that our district does have a policy that says we want to maintain 10 million for carryover. So that's already taken out. There's a line item at the very bottom where it says at the minimum we want to carry the 10 million. We carry more than that, but if we were to get to that point, then we want to at least at a minimum do the 10 million. So that didn't used to be in previous budget forms. That's something that's new on these budget forms. Page 2 is just a continuation of our maintenance and operation, and this just has the breakdown for the special education programs to make sure that we're maintaining what the state requires us to match as a district. And then it also has our expenditures budgeted for our audit services. The next page is our classroom site fund. This budget is based on enrollment, and it is based on $842 that we received per our ADM count. So our budget for this year is the $12,850,223. The next one is our other funds outlined there. So you'll see like our capital, unrestricted capital, our bond, new school facilities, which we don't have anything budgeted in there, and then our adjacent ways. And those did not change. The next page is our capital fund, our Fund 610, and that is also broken down by the different areas, with the budget being the 15,964,449, which on the next page I'll make sure I go over where that number came from. Okay, and then the next page is our different funds. Like you'll see, like our federal projects, and then our funds that are I always forget the word. They're cash based. Sorry, I was like, I always forget what it is. They're cash-based funds, and then we also have our grant funds. And our grant funds, at the very bottom, you'll see that if you're following on the right side, on the left side is line 33. It has the total budget, which is the 13 million, like roughly 13.4 million. That number did increase from the revision I did in September. Because of if we had any carryovers once we closed out all the grants, if we had any carryover allocation. So that portion of the budget was revised. My pages are stuck here. Okay, so this next page, I know it's probably a little bit hard to see, like it's kind of small the way they do the forms. But this is the breakdown of our maintenance and operations budget. And there you will see our carryover. So our carryover amount was the 29,365,251. That increased about 9.5 from what we had previously budgeted when we did the revision in September, when we adopted and revised. So now we're capturing all of our carryover. And then that's added to our budget. And then there's in line 10, it's highlighted in yellow. You'll see 3 numbers there. These are one-time payments that they are providing. Those numbers have been revised based on what ADE has allocated for us for this year. Because the school year is not over and they still have to do their end of year calculations, those numbers could vary. But this is the one-time payments that they have provided for us. And so then our M&O, our revised amount for our M&O budget is $115,575,046, which is about 9.5 million increased from our September revision. And if I'm trying to go slow and explain, but if you have any questions, please let me know. The next page is similar to what you saw previously, but this is for our capital budget. And here we also make sure that we capture our carryover, which was about 4.8 million more than what we previously had in our budget. And it's the so for the total, the revised budget amount for capital is 15,964,449. So again, those increases are due to us capturing all of our carryover. The next page is probably blank on yours because it's just like a supplemental sheet we don't have to do. And then the next 2 pages are summaries. So those are just a summarized version of everything that has been discussed in those previous forms. And then our truth and taxation worksheet, we don't have to do that. And then the very last page is our fund balances. And that one, I think I had mentioned before, was a new form where they're just basically, we have to just report our ending and beginning balances for our different funds. Any questions?
Quick question. Going back to, this is the calculation for fiscal year 2026 general budget limit, where you outline the yellow.
What page are you on?
This is the, it doesn't have a number.
Uh-oh,
It's the calculation for 2026.
okay.
Yeah, okay.
It's
You
a
see
teeny
there?
weeny, yep,
Yeah, down below where it's yellow.
yep.
The three, this one, the three.
Yeah,
on the
well, I
bottom.
can't.
I
I
see
can't
that
even
one.
see up
Okay,
close.
I'll try to
here.
follow along.
Right. So C, I'm just curious here. It says Group B weight supplement. Can you?
Yes, so, okay. That, which is number C, is what I think you're looking at, right?
Yes, correct.
That is for our free and reduced population. It's a one-time payment. The way that ADE, when they do their ADM, different groups have different weights, so they might call it Group A, Group B, whatever that is. That line specifically is for our free and reduced population, and it's a one-time payment that the state went back, and then based on the state enrollment and then our portion of whatever that is, that number is what they're giving our district. It's not something that right now is going to continue, but that's what that is. So the Group B, what you're saying, the weight supplement, is just how ADE identifies where to get that enrollment number to calculate that amount.
How do they get that number?
It's based on the state enrollment for the students that are on free and reduced, based on income, whatever their requirements are for that program, the lunch program.
It's going to be the self-reported sheets that families fill out for the poverty or their economic status that they turn in, so to see if they qualify for free and reduced lunch. So the state takes all those, compiles them, and then that's our portion of it, based upon the income that's reported.
How do they prove their income? Just
No,
it's just on the honor system.
it's honor system.
Just on the honor
Yeah.
system. There's
The
no way to.
parents disclose that information.
Just on the honor system. Got it.
Questions? I have one question. I heard you say that we have a reduced population, and so that reduces our numbers. I mean, this budget is less than last year, right? So it's sort of depressing. I'm curious, and maybe you can't answer this. What percentage or what part of the reduction is because of our lower enrollment versus just having less funds available because that's what the state has deemed?
So it's a combination of things. When we do the budget, when they're determining that, it's based on enrollment, but then also remember they give us that 2%. So from last year, right, they give us that 2% increase per student, but then it's also based on enrollment. So I actually did bring the enrollment number just in case you wondered what that looked like. So when I created the budget, when we adopted it, we don't know what in the current year what our enrollment's going to be. So we are basically budgeting on last year's 100th day. So in September, when we did the revision, our enrollment was 10,934.9605 because they go out for, okay. So then you do the calculation based on that. There's other, other factors, the grade, the weights and those types of things. But then when I did the revision now and we look at the enrollment number that they have, which is what ADE is using to calculate our budget, is 10,793.4505. So it's a decrease of 141.51. So overall, that's the number that decreased. But then we also have to look at, well, how much of our budget did we spend last year? Do we have any one-time payments? Those types of things. And then our transportation costs, like all those different areas that also come into play. And then this where we get that number, which if you go to that page where Mr. Lara was looking with the number up there, if you look at line 1, based on their calculation and enrollment and all those components I just mentioned, the budget is 84,155,427, right? That's our budget. But then you add our carryover, which is the 29 million, and then you add the one-time payments, and that's where you get the 115. So as a district, if our carryover was smaller, or we didn't have that, then the budget you would be looking at would be the 84 million. And does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. And then, I know I confuse these two terms, dual and concurrent enrollment, but the large chunk that we would get back next year would increase our budget positively, because then we can count those students. Am I correct, or am I
Because
way
we
off?
funded, and Mr. Branson can speak if I'm out of turn, but
Oh, no,
I
you're good
believe
so
it's,
far.
It's based on our enrollment. So right now, if we have students, right, that 10,700 number I just gave you, but if we have students that we can't count in our
Right.
enrollment because they're only taking 2 classes, then we're not counting them. So I
Right.
think by doing the concurrent or whatever that is, that's going to bring back that money, then we can get funding for those students,
Right.
which could potentially increase our enrollment.
Right, that's what I wanted to clarify.
Yeah, so from our study session in last semester, we had partial enrollments that we can't count 100% on. So there's about $900,000 that we're looking to recapture by paying for concurrent enrollment. Now, obviously, we're putting out money to pay to get money back. So the net gain might only be, I'm making this up because I don't have it in front of me, might only be 400,000. That's a huge increase from zero.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why it's profitable for us to pay for concurrent enrollment, and that would be seen as an increase in enrollment overall, because right now they count as partial enrollment. So that's where we get the point whatever student. So next year, if everything stayed the same, our enrollment would increase by the state, because now we're capturing 100% of the student as opposed to 30% of a student.
Perfect. Thank you for answering. Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, Brenda, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Is there a motion to adjourn? Motion made by Carlos, seconded by Shelley. Any comments? Let's proceed to vote. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Should I just go, can I just go into the next meeting? Okay. We're going to move right into the regular meeting, since it's after